Today's guest on The Pulse, you may know as Wallace Peoples, formerly incarcerated. You may know as internet superstar Wallo267, but no matter how you know him, he's got an amazing and exciting story, and today he's here to share it with us. Wallace Peoples.
Yes.
Wallo267.
Yes.
We appreciate you coming. You're actually the first person to
I
be
appreciate
in this
being,
studio.
listen, I appreciate being at the Pulse, man. I'm loving it, man.
We've heard about your story. A lot of people have heard your story, but let's start there. What's your story that people may not know, kind of the background that got you to here?
Oh, well, my story is, young kid growing up in the inner cities of Philadelphia. Around 9, I got introduced to the street culture. About June 30th of 1990, I wound up getting arrested for armed robbery. The weekend after that, I got arrested again. I was only 11 years old for a couple days at the time. September 1990, I wound up going to juvenile facility, St. Michael's School for Boys, spent the year there, came home, got arrested again. And I wound up spending 5 years inside of the juvenile system. And then when I was 17, I got arrested for 2 armed robberies and firearm violations. Got sentenced to a total 19 and a half to 52 years. And that was the journey. Growing up.
17.
Yeah, I was 17. I got sentenced, certified as an adult. Just not knowing who you are, having identity crisis, wanting to be down. Because, I came from the hood, and in the hood, you got to have things in order to be accepted a lot of times. And I wanted to be cool, It costs to be cool, but I wanted to be it.
17, they gave you 20.
Yeah.
What's that like? You're 17 years old, think you're on the path, and then life kind of hits you at that point.
I'm going to tell you something real. It's like, it's the scariest thing ever. Because you're 17, now you're going to be, you think you're moving like an adult, so now you're going to adult prison, and now it's like, Bill, you're dealing with a different situation now. Now it's, scared. I'm going to a prison with grown men, and you've seen all these visuals growing up of movies about prisons. I don't know what's going to happen. You just don't know. So it's all this stuff running through your mind. And I'm 17, and I'm talking about, when I'm talking about scared is an understatement.
It's interesting. That's a scary story.
Man, it's scary.
And it's a story. And knock on wood, I have not been put in jail, so I don't know. But that's what I would imagine it would be. But most people aren't comfortable to share.
Man, listen.
Most people don't want to admit they were scared.
Listen, man. One of the part of me sharing my story, I try to, share my story so these young kids in the inner cities of America could learn from my story and don't live my story. So that's important. Is why I share it. And I think transparency is everything, because if you can save somebody's life, and you can help them. And it's like, what do I got reason to lie, man? I was scared. I'm a 17-year-old kid. I ain't no man. I'm thinking I'm big guys in there. You're just thinking all types of stuff.
Is that what changed you? You got in there. Was that the realization? I'm a 17-year-old kid. You kind of got in there and realized where you were. Did that change the mindset, or was that over
No,
time?
it took time, because when you get in there, you see your friends. It wasn't like I thought it was, and I thought it would be. But you get there and people mind their business and all that. But I'm telling you about my fear and how I was. You'll see people go through different phases, man. Some people go in there keep going to the hole, keep fighting, whatever. Sometimes jail is like the streets. So the choice is yours, whether you want to grow, or you want to stay the same. And sometimes we choose to stay the same. And for a while, I was just in there, just doing time. And then as I start to read more, elevate my mind more, and I realized, I woke up one day and realized, yo, man, I'm in jail for being somebody that I'm not. And when I say being somebody that I'm not, I'm just a young kid that wanted to be down.
Right.
You
weren't a, in quotes, hardened criminal.
It wasn't like I was killing nobody, and I wasn't that tough. You know what I mean? And I ain't saying, I just was out there committing crimes to try to get things in order for people to like me.
Tell me about the Book of Life, because that was part of that.
Oh man,
that
the Book of Life
that you had.
The Book of Life is like, it was just a composition book that I bought off commissary, and I started writing it. And I would write everything down. Like if I seen something, I would write it down. If somebody told me something about the free world, I would write it down, because all these things I wanted to experience when I get out and know about. Like I used to watch Anthony Bourdain all the time. That was like with my guy, Parts Unknown, No Reservation, The Layover. That was like my favorite person in the world. Okay. Rest in peace to him. And he educated me, because what he did when I sat in the cell, I was able to travel the world. I started understanding marketing more, and understand that most things in this world is just market to us. And the marketing is the remote controls of our lives.
But at some point, you grasp this marketing. You understand that you have the capacity and the ability to do that marketing. And then you discover social media.
Yeah, when I was in prison, a homeboy of mine, shout out to you, he came into my cell one day. He had an iPod Touch and a wireless hotspot. It was a clear, I'll never forget, it was a clear wireless hotspot. and an iPod Touch. I remember I wrote Google down in the book of life because a young kid was telling me about Google in the yard one day. You know, because every time somebody would come to prison, like a younger kid, and they'd know, like I knew their parents or whatever, like grew up with them, they'd come looking for me. And I was walking in the yard with them because every time somebody would come to prison, I would interrogate them about the free world, about what's out there, what this look like, what they wearing, where they go. Oh yeah, what building is here, what they eating, what's the name of that restaurant, what's that? Like it was a bunch of stuff. I used to just ask a million questions. And he told me about Google and I thought he was lying because he said, yeah, I could type your name in on Google and I could find you. And I'm saying to myself, how you could type my name in on Google? I've been in jail this long. You lying, that's impossible. Because a lot of times when you go to prison, you're stuck in a time that don't exist no more. And that time is your entry point.
People don't realize how completely disconnected you are. Google was new to you, buying a flight, like all that stuff.
All that stuff he would teach, people would teach me, and I would always ask, anybody to know, they'd say, Dan, he always asking questions, he always talking. I'm always trying to figure it out because I'm always trying to get information because the greatest thing that I learned is that I'm just a baby in this world. And because most of my life on this planet, I've been incarcerated more than I've been free. So by that, 5 years within the juvenile system and 20 years in prison, I'm only 42. So with that, I'm looking at the world like I'm a student.